Financial institutions on Wall Street brace themselves for potential chaos in the Treasury market amidst the imminent threat of default. Concern is growing among certain sectors of Wall Street that depend on Treasury bonds for their operations, as traders are becoming hesitant to engage with U.S. government debt maturing in June and are making preparations to handle securities that are at risk of default. President Joe Biden and leading Republican lawmaker Kevin McCarthy are nearing an agreement to raise the United States government's debt ceiling, currently standing at $31.4 trillion, for a duration of 2 years. The deal would also include a spending cap on most items. This negotiation is taking place as the Treasury Department has identified June 1 as the ex-date, signaling the potential exhaustion of funds to cover the government's financial obligations. Treasury securities serve as widely accepted collateral across various markets. A critical concern for market participants revolves around the treatment of bonds that are set to mature in the upcoming month in the event that a timely deal is not reached and the Treasury is unable to fulfill its obligations of paying principal and interest on the debt. The repurchase repo market, which facilitates short-term funding for borrowing and lending purposes by banks, money market funds, and other participants, is one of the affected areas. According to an unnamed executive from a U.S. fund manager, certain counterparties, including banks, have been avoiding Treasury bills that are set to mature in June in bilateral repo transactions, where trades occur between two parties. It's worth noting that there are a total of 14 Tesla bills scheduled to mature in June. According to Scott Skyrm, the Executive Vice President for Fixed Income and Repo at broker-dealer Curvature Securities, certain buyers or cash lenders in the repo market have been reluctant to accept Treasury bills that have a maturity within a year. Skyrm noted that market stress started to emerge at the beginning of May, as some lenders refused to accept Treasury bills that they considered to be at risk of delayed payments in specific types of trades. However, Skyrm did not disclose the names of the buyers who were not accepting T-bills. Jason England, the global bonds portfolio manager at Janus Henderson, expressed his belief that counterparties are hesitant to engage with collateral around this date. An executive from an independent broker-dealer operating in the repo market, who chose to remain anonymous, mentioned that they are presently continuing to finance Treasury securities. However, their primary focus is on reconfiguring their systems in preparation for potential measures that the Federal Reserve and Treasury might implement to avert a default. The executive added that they anticipate working throughout the weekend to ensure their systems are ready. According to 3 sources familiar with the situation, at least 3 major banks that have direct dealings with the New York Federal Reserve in terms of monetary policy implementation have been accepting all Treasury securities, without any specific restrictions or preferences. The disruptions in the repo market, which plays a critical role in providing funding for the day-to-day operations of numerous financial institutions, are occurring against the backdrop of increasing tension in financial markets due to prolonged discussions in Washington. A potential default would have severe ramifications since the $24.3 trillion Treasuries market serves as the foundation not only for the U.S. economy but also for the global economic system. Indeed, it is important to note that a default is still considered a remote possibility. Numerous market participants anticipate that the Treasury will find alternative means to conserve cash and prioritize debt payments, allowing them to continue fulfilling their financial obligations even after the June 1 deadline. In the event that the Treasury needs to postpone payments on certain maturing securities, expert groups have previously suggested a potential solution known as the Operational Maturity Date Extension. This proposal, outlined in a contingency planning document prepared by an expert group in December 2021, involves incrementally extending the maturities of securities that are at risk of default by 1 day at a time. This approach aims to facilitate the continued functioning of the markets during such circumstances. The suggested operational maturity date extension could enable the affected security to remain technically tradable and eligible for settlement through the Fedwire Securities Service System, which is utilized for government debt. However, the expert group cautioned that implementing this solution would require numerous broker-dealers to modify their trading systems to accommodate such extensions. Additionally, they highlighted that even with this measure in place, the repercussions of delayed payments on securities would still be significant and pose severe consequences. According to the broker-dealer executive, implementing the suggested approach of extending maturities pose challenges due to the complexity of the process. Maturity dates are interconnected with various calculations concerning the value of the security. Consequently, extending maturities would necessitate the firm to essentially modify or break their own system in order to accommodate this adjustment. Despite the challenges associated with extending maturity dates, the broker-dealer executive emphasized that allowing the security to default would have far more severe consequences. The executive expressed uncertainty about the potential outcome if the date is not extended, highlighting the critical importance of finding a solution to prevent a default scenario.